Welcome to DesignerDigitals Bi-Weekly Tip, May 31st, 2019. This week, how to use watery photo masks with digital papers in Photoshop and Elements. To create painted watercolor effects on digital projects, it doesn't get any easier than using Katie Pertitte's watery photo masks. These popular page elements are professionally designed to produce beautiful results every time with just a few clicks of the mouse. In this tip series, we're exploring the versatility of these masks. In the previous tip, we looked at using the masks with photos. This week, we'll look at techniques for using the masks with digital papers. Each watery mask download comes with an ABR brush file in addition to the PNG images of each of the masks. I'll start by demonstrating the PNG version, followed by how to use the brush file with the clone stamp in order to brush a paper instead of just brushing a color. Begin by opening a new document or background paper, a piece of digital paper, and a mask. You'll need to use the PNG version of the mask for this method. Get the Move tool, which is the first tool at the top, and drag the mask onto your new document. You'll want to drag from a darker area like this to make sure that you pick up the mask from the transparent background. Still using the Move tool, drag the paper onto the new document as well. In the Layers panel, the top layer should be the paper, with the mask sandwiched in the middle and then the background at the bottom. If the layers are out of order, you can drag layers up and down the Layers panel to get them into order. Make sure that your paper completely covers the mask. If you need to resize, select the paper layer and press Ctrl-T on a Mac system. That's Command-T on your keyboard. This activates the transform controls, which you can use to resize the paper. Remember that if your paper is becoming distorted as you drag, you'll need to hold the Shift key as you resize to cause the software to maintain the original aspect ratio. The next step is to create a clipping mask. And here's how to do that. Move your cursor between the paper layer and the mask layer over in the Layers panel. Hold down the Alt key on a Mac system. That's the Option key between the layers. You'll see that your cursor changes to this square with a bent arrow. When it does that clip, that clips the mask to the paper. Alternatively, let me undo that. You can select the paper layer and choose Layer, Create Clipping Mask. Or use the shortcut Alt-Control-G, or on a Mac system option Command-G. In Photoshop Elements, the shortcut is Control-G, or on a Mac system Command-G. Once you create that clipping mask, your paper takes on the shape of the watery mask, but the mask is filled with paper instead of just color. Now let's look at using the brush version of the watery photo masks with digital papers. Begin by loading the brush file into Photoshop or Elements. You can refer to our video tip on loading and using brushes in Photoshop and Elements if you need help with this step. It will walk you through the process of loading the brush into your software. Open a digital paper and a new blank document. Target the new blank document and create a new blank layer by pressing the Create a New Layer icon in the Layers panel. It looks like a little post-it note with a flipped up corner. So now over in the Layers panel, I have the background and a new blank layer here. And you'll want to make sure that the new blank layer is selected. Next, choose the Clone Stamp tool from the Tools panel. In the tool options, select one of the watery mask brushes that you loaded in the first step. So in Photoshop, your brush options are at the top. In Elements, your brush options will be at the bottom. I'm going to select the watery photo masks and then choose a brush. Now the next step is important. Select the paper layer, not the new document. Move your cursor into the center of the page and Alt-click, or on a Mac system Option-click, to select the paper as your clone source. You're just telling the software that you want to pick up this paper to use with the brush. Now make the new document active and click once to stamp the watery mask with paper. Using this method, the stamp will be on its own layer, so you can then get the move tool and resize or reposition or even delete the mask if you want to later. You can also reduce the opacity here in the layers panel or change the blending mode of the layer to blend the masked paper into the background. With the basic technique mastered, you can creatively layer the masked paper in your digital projects. Thanks so much for watching this week's video tip, and be sure to check back in 2 weeks for another Designer Digitals tip.